The New York Times has revealed that the Pentagon used well-known military analysts like these as a quote-unquote media Trojan horse to spread pro-war propaganda to Americans.
You met with Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld.
Special briefing on Thursday. Very interesting. A lot of good information, especially about post-Saddam, post-regime time. What are we going to do then? It's a very well laid out plan.
As the administration's plan, or lack thereof, unraveled, another group of former generals began calling for Donald Rumsfeld's resignation. His response was to gather his own team of trusted analysts to the Pentagon, where they directly collaborated on talking points and strategy to revive public support for the war. According to transcripts obtained by the Times, many of those talking points later appeared almost verbatim on America's major newscasts.
And this is just coming into CNN right now. The Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld has just wrapped up his meeting with retired U.S. generals. Our own military analyst, retired U.S. Air Force Major General Don Shepard, is fresh out of that meeting. He's joining us now live from the Pentagon.
You ought to say, imagine an Iraq ruled by Zarqawi, one talking point suggested, with oil, money, sovereignty, access to the geographical center of the Middle East, blah, blah, blah.
The message needs to be, imagine an Iraq. Imagine Iraq under the control of Zarqawi with another conveyor belt for tourists combined with oil and water and land and resources. Imagine the effect of that. That's the message that has to get out to the American people.
Focus on the global war on terror, another talking point outline, and link Iraq to Iran.
How deep is this Iran connection?
Well, it's very deep, and Iran continues to get a free pass.
I believe that Iran is now the #1 troublemaker in Iraq.
Depict Iraq as a milepost in a continuum in a long war, another analyst suggested. Quote, if you paint it that way, then people won't look for terminal events.
Are we making inroads in the war on terror?
Well, we are, Kimberly. A slow and steady progress. You know, this is a 50-year war. There's not going to be any short-term solution to this, and it's a war that's going to cross a lot of boundaries from Latin America to Africa to Asia, and we're going to be engaged for a very, very long time.
You go on O'Reilly, one of the analysts noted, and he's, quote, eating out of your hand because you're smart.
We appreciate you plugged in, and I want everybody to know, General knows what he's talking about.
The program involved over 150 analysts in every major news network. On this episode of Chris Matthews' Hardball, for example,
General Wayne Downing, General Montgomery Meigs, and Colonel Ken Howard.
All three military analysts were part of the Pentagon program. This analyst, Kenneth Allard, says he saw a growing gap between what the Pentagon was telling them and reality. Quote, I felt we'd been hosed, he told the Times, calling the program, quote, psyops on steroids. Many of the news networks involved said they were unaware of the practice.
Feeding biased information about the war in Iraq to the media through these military analysts that people like myself have been interviewing on TV, who were supposed to be given an objective assessment to the public of what was really going on overseas. Now, the New York Times says most of the TV and the radio military analysts have ties to military contractors, people who could possibly be making money on the war.
The nonpartisan media watchdog Free Press says the program is, quote, a violation of every conceivable standard of journalism and possibly a federal law. They're launching a major campaign to pressure Congress to investigate these military pundits and their hidden ties to the White House. You can join by signing a letter to your congressperson today to demand an investigation and stop the White House from forcing favorable views into our free press. Add your voice today at freepress.net.